Zulfikar Mustapha, Minister of Agriculture, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, stakeholders at the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, students of the Guyana School of Agriculture, residents of Montrose and the surrounding communities, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, members of the National Drainage and Irrigation Council, all present. A very good afternoon to you. It's a beautiful day, and we want to thank you so much for your commitment to being present. It's a privilege to welcome you to the official ceremony marking the rehabilitation of the 200 cubic drainage pumps here at Montrose Pump Station. Today, we stand at the intersection of progress and sustainability as we witness not just the revitalization of critical infrastructure, but also a renewed commitment to safeguarding our communities from the adverse impacts of climate change. This project represents more than just a technical achievement. It embodies the dedication of our government, partners, and stakeholders to ensure that our drainage systems are resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we would now like to welcome our first speaker who leads in the capacity of Permanent Secretary Acting at the Ministry of Agriculture. And she's going to tell us more about the broader impact of this project on Region 4. Please put your hands together and help me welcome Miss Dacia Ferguson.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustapha, Director General, Mr. Madam Lal Ramraj, heads of agencies, distinguished guests, and members of the community. It is with great pleasure and pride that I stand here today on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture as we officially commission the Montrose Pump Station. This moment marks an important milestone in our ongoing effort to strengthen agriculture, enhance food security, and promote sustainable development in our communities. The commissioning of this pump station is not just a completion of a project, but the start of a new chapter for the farmers and residents of this area. Water is the lifeblood of agriculture, and with this new infrastructure, we are ensuring that our farmers have reliable and consistent access to these resources. The pump station will play a critical role in drainage, particularly during the rainy seasons when torrential downpours often cause flooding and damage. This project represents a substantial investment in the sum of $226.7 million in agricultural infrastructure. The strategic pillar of the Ministry of Agriculture is to have modernized and upgraded infrastructure, specifically to advance water management and transportation requirements. Therefore, we have long-term and strategic investment in infrastructure to make the agriculture production and distribution process more effective, viable, and sustainable. This is important since without these key investments in infrastructure development, service delivery may not be able to take place in the desired pace. This in turn will contribute to greater food availability, improved livelihood, and stronger local economies. Beyond the technical aspect of this infrastructure, today also symbolizes the collaboration of our people. This project came to life through the tireless effort of the Ministry of Agriculture, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, and most importantly, the local community. Together, we have worked to ensure that initiatives such as these continue to serve its purpose for many years, benefiting Guyanese throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. The Ministry of Agriculture remains steadfast in its commitment to fostering an environment where agriculture can thrive, responding to the needs of our farmers and tackling challenges they may face. This pump station is a testament of that commitment and the opportunities it will create. Our pledge at the ministry is to continue supporting initiatives like this one that brings positive change to agricultural productivity and the well-being of our communities. Thank you, and may this be just one of many successes as we work together for a prosperous agriculture future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Miss Ferguson. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker occupies the office of Chairman of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, where he ensures the effective management, improvement, extension, and provision of drainage, irrigation, and flood control infrastructure and services in declared areas of Guyana. Please put your hands together and help me welcome Mr. Lionel Wordsworth, Chairman of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority.
Thank you, Sessional Chairperson. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Director General, PS, colleagues in the Ministry of Agriculture, MP Sheila, good afternoon, and staff of NDIA residents. I'm very pleased to be part of this ceremony this afternoon, whereby we will commission a new unit that was installed here at Montrose. Over the last year or so, or maybe 2 years, NDIA would have started a program of investment, and the Permanent Secretary alluded to this just now, whereby not only we have to put new infrastructure in place, the existing infrastructure is critical that we improve and upgrade them, because Guyana, as you know, are exposed to the effects of climate change. And if we are to comply with the adaptation strategy, which is important for us, projects like these where we have existing infrastructure, we have to upgrade them to manage extreme weather events. Like in this case, it's a drainage infrastructure. On other projects that we have, we're improving irrigation services. So I'm very happy to be part of this project and to give you a little background of these investments in the drainage and irrigation sector, particularly Region 4. Many of us can recall the flooding events of 2005. And following that, the government invested along with the World Bank, and a study was done. And the recommendation of that study was to improve and upgrade key infrastructure. Here at Montrose, it has a site capacity of 186,000 gallons this mechanical drainage per minute. And we are now, there was this particular site here had what we call a electrically driven submersible pump. And over years, they had so many downtime in it, you know, because and when we have this downtime, the entire unit had to be sent overseas to get it recoiled, and all the moisture meters and so had to be replaced, and we lose downtime on that. So the decision to upgrade it now, we have electrically driven pump, but it's not submersible. It's driven by electric motor, and we have on site power generation to satisfy the need of this unit here. Along with that recommendation that I alluded to, we have many other drainage projects taking place across Guyana. We have, over the past 2 years to now, 28 improvement projects right across Region 2 to Region 6, whereby that would see 37 new pumps being installed at new sites and upgrading of some of the existing sites. Only a week ago, we would have recommissioned pumps at Trafalgar, that's in Berbice. And here in Region 4, we have concluded work at Liliandale, at Ogle, and we're working at some other sites in Region 3. So that represents the national program where we improve drainage system. And like we have the storm drainage we're doing with the Hope Light canals in Region 5, Region 6, and Region 3. This project here was awarded in 2023 on the and works commenced on the 7th of September, and these works was concluded on the 16th of October 2024. It has a defects period, that is when we will put this pump under operation. There's a period of defects where the contractor still has that responsibility to, if something should go wrong, he has to take care of that at no additional cost to the contract. The contract cost was mentioned earlier, $226 million, and the project was awarded to General Engineering Supplies and Services, Inc. through a public procurement system. This project will drain, and there's a connecting system to neighboring Plaisance. It supports the drainage system there, despite there's a pump at Plaisance, going all the way to Success, and it extends approximately the landmass, approximately 9 kilometers going back towards the Conservancy Dam. And for those of you who traverse along the railway embankment and the expansion of housing, whereby the demand on the drainage system, where you have housing development, the drainage efficiency has to be more, and we must be able to discharge more water during the rainy season, as against where you have agricultural land and there's some amount of retention time in the system. So I want to thank the contractor for delivering this project within the time, and to thank all the engineers from NDI who worked on this with support from the NDC, and Gaisuku as well. It's a Gaisuku facility, but this project was done by NDIA. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wordsworth. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we have a treat for you. It's our first cultural item this afternoon, and it's going to be executed by the four beautiful dancers that are seated here this afternoon. They represent the Vani Vanitya Dance Academy, the Guyana chapter. The company is located in the United States, but they have been bringing the joy of dance to the next generation of dancers. And our dancers this afternoon, they range in ages from 6 to 11 years old. They're actually two pairs of sisters, and I've been told they're super excited to perform for us. So let's make them feel encouraged today. Put your hands together for the Vani Vanitya Dance Academy.
जो है अलबेला मद नैनो वाला, जिसकी दीवानी ब्रिज की हर बाला, वो किसना है, वो किसना है, वो किसना है, वो किसना है, किसना है। जो है अलबेला मद नैनो वाला, जिसकी दीवानी ब्रिज की हर बाला, वो किसना है, वो किसना है, वो किसना है, किसना है।
मेरे मन ये बता दे तू, किस ओर चला है तू, क्या पाया नहीं तूने, क्या ढूंढ रहा है तू। जो है अनकही, जो है अनसुनी, वो बात क्या है बता। मितवा कहे धड़कने तुझसे क्या मितवा ये खुद से तो ना तू छुपा
ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਾਲਾ ਚਚਮਾ ਜੱਜਦਾ ਏ ਕੋਰੇ ਮੁਖੜੇ ਤੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਾਲਾ ਚਚਮਾ ਜੱਜਦਾ ਏ ਕੋਰੇ ਮੁਖੜੇ ਤੇ
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vani Vanatya Dance Academy. I wanted to join in, but I have two left feet. They did amazing. I know they meant business when I saw the sunglasses on the stage. Thank you so much for that energetic performance. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our formal program as we celebrate the rehabilitation of 200 cubic drainage pumps here at Montrose. And today, the direct benefits of the rehabilitation of these pumps cannot be overstated. One does not need to be actively involved in the agriculture ministry or industry to benefit from this infrastructure. Projects like this one leads to stability in agricultural output, supporting the livelihoods of farmers, reducing the risk of food shortages, and strengthening Guyana's economy through increased food production. So today is definitely a big deal. Coming now to tell us more about some of the impacts that this project will have on rural sustainability, national development, and improved living standards across Guyanese society is the Director General at the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Mandalal Ramraj.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Honorable Minister, PS, Chairman of NDIA, heads of the agencies, Ministry of Agriculture. I saw some school children, GSAs. A pleasant good afternoon. Today is another success story in the Ministry of Agriculture program. This success story has begun since 2020 under the leadership of His Excellency and under the stewardship of our Honorable Minister. Minister has guided his team to so many successes in the Ministry of Agriculture, and this is just one of the many, many so far. And I know before this year comes to a close, there will be many, many more success stories which you will be enlightened with. How do we reach to this stage? It's because of the thought process of the government, of which our minister and all of us are part of, to ensure to improve the livelihood of our people, whether singly, whether by communities, whether by farming, and today it's through this structure, this corridor in which we are here today. But importantly is what it has done, structure like these, what it has done to the agriculture sector itself. And through the subsector, the NDIA, the success story has been enormous. Whether it is from charity, Montrose Pump, or whether it is on the West Coast, whether it's here, Region 5, Region 6, we have seen the transformation of agriculture in our country. And the figures are there to talk about. In his year-end press conference and in his contribution in Parliament, even up to yesterday, you would have seen what it means, what structure like this means to people, communities, agriculture, farming communities, and Guyana as a whole. And so it's by no magic, that these things are happening. It's by design. It's been set up like that to ensure that you have the maximum out of what you have. And the kind of investment, the kind of thoughtfulness, the kind of process it has gone through. And a simple example, you have heard who were following the debates and who were following the year-end press conference of the minister, that for the first time in the history of our country, the existence of our country, that rice has surpassed its 700,000 tons mark. It is by, what are they, how it become about? It's not because you one morning you get up and said, well, this is going to happen. It's how you start the process. How you, whether it's by infrastructure, investment infrastructure like this, or whether it's been in terms of research and development, whether it's improving the agronomic practices, whether it is by extension services, however it is. But it calls for a thoughtful process. It calls for thinking. It calls for the kind of match your investment with the process, and so you are seeing the outcome. So these things, while we celebrate these things, to some people, it's not a kind of celebration because they have a negative thought process. It's not easy to get these things done. And the MP here and our minister will tell you the fight, even up to yesterday in Parliament. We were all there yesterday in Parliament to have money appropriated for different agencies to have these things, to have projects like these become successful. But look at what happened at the end of the day. At the end of the day, who are the beneficiaries? The beneficiaries are individual farming community, residents, and citizens of our country. And that's why we are investing. That's why the government is investing. All the debates in Parliament and all the expenditure you have seen so far, it's about people-centered. Every single one of them, whether it's been road, whether it's been bridges, hospital, education, agriculture, infrastructure, it's all about development. It's about improving the livelihood of people. And so the Ministry of Agriculture, under the leadership of our minister, will continue to provide the kind of services, continue to provide the kind of investment so that we can all grow. Each and every single community, each and every farming area. Today, it's another success story, as I said. And we'll continue to have many, many success stories. I know we can go on and talk many, many more successes, but for now, let me stop here and thank each and every one of you for being here today. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our formal program, but in a few minutes we'll be hearing from the Honorable Minister Zulfikar Mustapha, Minister of Agriculture. Right now, Handel Neptune, the founder of Highs of the Ancestor Drumming Group that is based in Buxton, will be performing for us a celebratory drumming experience, and he's been playing drums for 50 years. He is honored to be here today as we commission the 200 cubic drainage pumps here at Montrose. Please put your hands together for Mr. Handel Neptune. June, for sharing your talent with us. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier this afternoon, you heard Mr. Ramraj's emphatic endorsement of our keynote speaker and his commitment to the agriculture industry. It is my distinct honor to welcome a meticulous leader whose forward-thinking approach and tireless advocacy of sustainable agricultural development is reflected in his deep belief in the sector's role in shaping Guyana's economic future. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Zulfikar Mustapha.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. First of all, let me recognize the officials. We have here the Member of Parliament, Ms. Virasamy, representing the East Coast, Permanent Secretary, Acting, Chairman of NDIA, Director General, Representative of the Pleasance, NDC, and area here, staff from the Ministry of Agriculture, the contractor who would have executed the project, students from the Guyana School of Agriculture, more importantly, farmers, stakeholders, special invitees. We have heard from the speaker who would have spoken just now the importance of this structure. That this structure will not only help the agriculture sector and for us to enhance food security in Guyana and the region, but also this sector will play a very important role in enhancing our drainage capacity in those villages that were mentioned by the chairman of NDIA from Pleasance and all the villages between Pleasance and Success. Those villages that used to experience flooding when we have heavy downpour. And you know this area here is an area that is prone to flooding. And there are a number of areas in our country that over the last 4 years, and even before 2020, when we were in government before 2020, the PPP Civic, from 1992 to 2015, we have seen a massive rehabilitation of infrastructure in our country. We have changed the entire landscape, especially in the D&I sector. And for us in the Ministry of Agriculture, and more importantly, the government, we want to ensure that we develop the drainage capacity, that we build an extensive drainage system in our country, that what we are doing here are investment into the future of our country. And this project, or projects like these, will ramp up investment to strengthen our infrastructure, strengthen our capacity to enhance investment in our country, and also to build that comprehensive drainage system that we are building. And I want to be very frank here this afternoon that there was a period in our country's history, not so long ago, when we had seen investment reduce tremendously. For example, in 2015, the last year of the PPP Civic in government, we have seen investment reduce from $18.5 billion to $13 billion. And in less than 5 years, just over 4 years, we have invested in the D&I system. We have increased investment in the D&I system by 760%. 760% we have invested and increased investment. That tells us a story. That tells us where this government wants to take Guyana. because we cannot invite investors to come into the country. We cannot be food secure. Guyana cannot drive the 25 by 2025 initiative that CARICOM wants to achieve at the end of this year without investing in its infrastructure. Whilst we are doing the infrastructure in the D&I sector, and we are enhancing and ramp up investment in this very important sector, the other sectors, we are seeing a revolution now in road building across this country. Thousands of community roads are being built across the country. The entire landscape in this country has been changed. We are modernizing our landscape. Whilst we are invested in that infrastructure in roads, we are seeing massive investment in the health sector. 6 brand new state-of-the-art hospitals are being built across the country, and we are rehabilitating a number of those hospitals across the country. So we are not only investing in one area. Likewise, in the education sector, we are seeing massive investment. We are seeing Guyana now and Guyanese students are topping the region in different subjects, in CSEC, in CAPE. We have scholars coming out of Guyana now because of the investment we are making. And that shows the government commitment in enhancing the lives of people, in improving the living standard, in ensuring that people have more disposable income. For example, when we resumed government in 2020, simple thing like the school cash grant because we care, that was taken away from our school children. $1.7 billion that was denied our school children for 5 years. We reintroduced that back. And we didn't only start it back with $10,000. We increased it over the years. And this year, every child that attends public school and also private school will be given $50,000 by the government of Guyana. That's the kind of investment that we are making, including uniform voucher of another $5,000. And there are a number of schools now that we reintroduced the school feeding program, very nutritious meals. These are the investment that we are talking about. So this investment here is not in isolation alone for agriculture and farmers. When we are doing these investments, we are making a genuine effort to modernize our country's infrastructure. So this here will complement not only the drainage system in the agriculture sector, but the residential drainage. So when we have better drainage in the residential area, we are building the roads for people to get better access to their communities. So you see it work hand in hand. The Ministry of Agriculture, through the NDIA, enhancing the drainage system. The Ministry of Public Works, building the infrastructure for the road network. The Ministry of Health, modernizing the health sector so that you can get better treatment and better facilities at these health institutions. The Ministry of Education, enhancing the education sector so that our children can have better learning facility. They could improve their capacity. We can build a nation that is educated. These are the kind of investment that your government, your party, the People's Progressive Party Civic, are making to the people of our country. That's the kind of investment. And this is very important. Lionel mentioned just now some of the project. He talked about the Hope Lake Canal. Well, you all remember when the Hope Lake Canal was built on Hope on the East Coast of Demerara, just after the 2005 floods. Many persons At that time, especially the opposition was talking about a white elephant, Jack Dale's white elephant. Well, that project proved its capacity, proved the importance and the vision of our government. When we had the most devastating flood in the history of this country in 2021, the part of the East Coast and those areas that are being drained in that Hope Lake Canal was never underwater. And because of that vision, we are now building in three regions, 2 in Region 6, another 3 in Region 5, and 1 in Region 3. At a cost of $23 billion, that's the investment. $23 billion we are investing now to build the Hope Lake Canal so that we can drain the maximum area in this country, the productive area that have large concentration of the population. Work have already commenced. The entire project have been awarded in Region 6. Work have already commenced there. Part of the project in Region 5. The design have been completed. Part have already been awarded. 90 kilometers of embankment from Mahaika to Ithaca in Region 5, in West Berbice. We are building an embankment from Mahaika right on to Ithaca. Then we are building Hope Lake canals at places like Danzig, places like Cottage, places at the left bank of the Abari. 3 large, massive Hope Lake canal in Region 5. We are building another 2 in Region 6. We have an embankment from Kanji right on to number 66 so that the backlands water we can keep out the backlands water to come in to the residential and cultivation drainage system. And we are building 2 Hope Lake canals at Lancaster, Wim area, and numbers 52, 51, 52 areas. 2 Hope Lake canal, high-level canal. And all these are high-level canal, can be operated during high tides. So we can have 24 hours drainage, draining the heavy intake of water out to the outlet directly to the Atlantic Ocean without putting strain into the drainage system of the cultivation and residential drainage. That's the kind of vision that we're talking about. We are building another one at Beeline in Region 3 so that we can drain the area there too. Those are very productive areas. Whilst we are doing that, we are ramping up investment in other parts of the country. In Region 10, for the first time, we are now building a conservancy. It's already been completed. We are now putting in the structure. The sluice is there. A conservancy in Linden, Region 10, an area that is associated with mining. We are changing now the landscape of that area and ensuring that that area produce for us and bring out agriculture produce. Region 10 is one of the most important areas now in producing all our corn and soya needs. In the intermediate savanna, in Ibini, Kimbia, we have now over 12,000 acres of corn and soya we had cultivated last year. This year we are increasing that to 25,000 acres. We have already put in silos, 18,000 tons of silos. We have built a wharf, or we are in the process of building the wharf there. We are now, and we have already built a conveyor system from the silos so they can transport the grain right onto the ship. And we have built hundreds of kilometers of roads in the intermediate savanna. So we have transformed barren land. We have transformed barren land, and that only less than 4 years. So when we are talking, the Director General just talked about the increase in rice production. For the first time in the history, we have produced over 700,000 tons of rice. We have peaked last year to 725,000 tons of rice. This year we have increased, that will be increased. And the target is set at 804,000 metric tons. And we are very optimistic that we will achieve that target because with the kind of infrastructure and the investment climate that we are making more conducive to the people of our country. So it's important that we look holistically what the government is doing, how we are enhancing the infrastructure, how we are developing our country. We are not developing our country in isolation in only one sector, and we are talking about the agriculture sector. When we look at development, we look at development broad-based, holistically, so we can encompass every single section of the population. I have here in my hands investment only in pump stations and pumps. We have invested over the last 4 years just over $11 billion in acquiring pump station and pumps and building pump station. So you could see the kind of investment that we are making. So this afternoon, I am happy to be here at the commissioning of this important infrastructure, piece of infrastructure you heard, at a cost of $226 million, 200 cusecs per minute. This will help us tremendously in enhancing our drainage system. Also, I want to make a commitment here this afternoon that there is another pump that need rehabilitation there, an old pump. And I want to commit here this afternoon that during the course of this year, we will fix a brand new pump here. So we'll enhance the capacity here by another 100 cusec right here at Montrose. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we will have over 4,000 acres of land, cultivation land, being serviced by this pump. Hundreds, thousands of residents will be serviced by this pump station here. And over the next few months, we have a number of other pump stations that we'll be commissioning. In another 2 weeks, we'll be commissioning another 3 pump stations. And we have under construction another 7 pump stations, places like Bellevue, Metamerzag, Port Drine, Jimbo on the east bank of Berbice, Letterkenny on the Quarantine, Blackbush area, the frontlands in Blackbush Polder. Those are places like Charity. So you could see in the entire country, we are enhancing the drainage system and we are building that comprehensive system that we want to enhance our capacity, to enhance, make Guyana that food secure nation that we want. You know, let me be very frank. When I became Minister of Agriculture, Guyana had lost its place in CARICOM in making representation and leading the agri-food system and driving food security. In 2021, the first heads of government meeting that His Excellency attended, I accompanied him in Belize, and at that meeting, he rescued that position once again. And since the President of Guyana take over the lead in agriculture, diversification, and food security in CARICOM, we have seen a renewed interest not only in Guyana, but across the Caribbean. Countries whose economy were built on tourism, oil and gas, and other areas now are looking forward to improve and build their agriculture sector. They are looking forward for that leadership that Guyana is giving. They are looking for us to lend them the technical capacity, build their technical capacity in their country. Many of our technical officers would have visited Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, places like St. Lucia, St. Kitts, to help them to build their agriculture sector. Mind you, those countries' economy were built on tourism. But we are seeing now with what we are doing in Guyana, Guyana is doing, they are looking forward for us to help them to become food secure. And if the reduction of import to the Caribbean, if we have to reduce it, and if the Caribbean has to be successful in reducing that by 25% by the end of this year, then Guyana has to be successful. And we are moving. We are moving, and we are not only moving in one areas. What we are doing, the traditional areas, rice, fruits and vegetables, we are increasing production in those areas. The livestock industry grew by 24% last year. We are now building a new industry, the aquaculture industry. We increased brackish water shrimp on the Quarantine by over 600%. We have started producing Vanami prawns, a very lucrative product, at Anvawak now. We are building our own hatchery. We are building our own feed mill. so that we can produce our own larvae to put in those ponds at Anvawak. We have private sector investment coming into the aquaculture industry. We have seen massive investment in the fishing industry. Almost all the landing sites in this country are being rehabilitated. Places like Meadowbank Wharf, right here on the East Coast, Mount Repose, Ogle, Annandale. Those are major fishing sites. West Coast Borbies, only last 2 weeks, I commissioned a new wharf there with new buildings. So you could see we are making investment, and that is why we have seen investment in the agriculture sector move from $13 billion in 2020 to this year. We have $104.6 billion to invest and enhance the agriculture sector. That was passed in our National Assembly last night. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been going on for some time, but these are the stories we have to tell. We can't only say that we come into a commissioner pump station and think that this is in isolation just to enhance drainage. We have to link this to the development of our country. And what we have seen over the last 4.5 years, we have seen a massive infrastructural development taking place in our country. In all facets of life, we have seen improvement. And let us continue to support progress. Let us continue to work together. Let us continue to form that partnership, and let us enhance our country. And as long, I want to tell you here this afternoon, as long the People's Progressive Party Civic is in government, development will continue and Guyana will move forward and be the envy of the Caribbean. Thank you very much.